You are now entering the Honeysuckle Podcast. Today's guest is Mr. Corvain Cooper. Corvain was serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole for a nonviolent cannabis crime before being commuted by then-President Donald Trump.
Let's jump into things. Let's start with maybe bring our listeners up to speed a little bit on, why we're talking today and why you're able to be on the Zoom call with us today.
Right. We can start with, I was just serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. We can start with that, for the 40 tons. That's 40 tons right there for the 40 tons of marijuana conspiracy that I was charged with the whole total amount with, that I went to trial with Evelyn and Talia Wade. So Trump signed my clemency within the last 2 minutes or 4 or 5. Some people say it's 2, some people say it's 5 minutes. But at 11:30, my name wasn't on the list, and you only got to 12 o'clock to be on the list to get your lottery ticket in, and it was signed in the last second. So it's a purpose why I'm here. I'm gonna serve my purpose. There's 40,000 people currently incarcerated for marijuana, and we're steadily pushing for the people, Luke and Parker Coleman, and everybody that has life sentences right now for marijuana, Pedro, Hope Humberto, and the people that can't speak for themselves. I'm here to speak for the voiceless, for the same people that spoke for me when I was down, the 156,000 signatures that my American citizens signed, that signed my petition, the people like you that spread the message of, getting out there every different site that it was on. You can't take the one site from being on BET, from being on, the person with the corner store podcast. You can't stop either one of them because all of them help spread the message, and all of them help me be here to get this interview today.
That's amazing. So talk to me about 40 tons. That's the wife of your friend?
Anthony Allegrelli, my friend, is over 27 years, and his wife, I called his wife while I was in prison with the idea of waking up to the 40 tons every day, right? So you see the 40 tons on my shirt and hat, but you're not knowing that I woke up to this every single day of a newspaper clipping. This is what took my life away. So I was like, well, how can we turn that around and give me my life back? How can we, make it into a platform, right? So we started thinking of ideas and start doing certain things. And then I was like, I think we should get a brand and call it 40 tons, and just really call it 40 tons. And she was like, I don't know, this is why I'm in prison. She was like, I don't know, that might be a slap in the face. You're just trying to come home, and they might think that you're like glorifying the 40 tons. I was like, no, it's the 40,000 prisoners. It's the 40 tons, and it's the same thing that took me away. I think we should use it to bring me back up and bring me back alive. So I talked her into it. We started getting the paperwork done and start, trademarking the name and getting everything under control on because we were doing a deal with evidence at the time. I was going to do a gummy deal with evidence while I was in prison, and Casey and Dan said, we can help you get started, but we're not going to help you build a brand. You got to build your own brand, so that's where it all came in, and we just kept pushing and pushing. And now we're here, and I'm out, and it's came alive. You feel what I'm saying? And I thank God, I thank God for the things that I've been through in order to give the message a little bigger, to be able to have a platform, to be able to speak on something that actually was supposed to kill me, right? And I'm going to use it to make me stronger. We're doing expungement clinics. On September 2nd, we're going to be hosting a job fair. Can I get a job fair? So we got Earn Your Leisure is going to be there to do your credit. Twin Fish, Lemonade, Patty, the owner, she's going to be one of the top sponsors there. We're going to have, if you don't have a suit, you're going to be able to get a suit. You need to get a haircut, you need a haircut, you need your resume. We're going to have somebody there right then and there to write your resume. It's going to be no excuses on why you can't get a job and why you can't get ready a job. And we're really based on looking for felons that with cannabis charges. And we're trying to get you back working and get you working fast. That's what our whole point is.
So the 40 tons, for those of us who aren't familiar with your case, that was what you were charged with transporting, owning, selling?
Mailing, distributing,
Okay.
they can't, anyone that needs to read up on it, it's October 13th, 2013. You can read the Charlotte Observer. Our case is out of Charlotte, and you can read the Charlotte Observer and read up on the case. The trial date, that's the day that we went to trial. And me, Evelyn LaChapelle, and Natalia Wade, and we all went to trial together for the 40 tons of conspiracy. They ended up getting 87 months. And she has her brand called 87, so, that was a big thing in our life. That was pretty big. That was it was a very detrimental thing in our life at that time.
So we're talking about 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
What does that look like in real life? If it was in a room, are you building like igloos out of it? Like how?
Like when you see like our brand, if anybody like looks at our brand deck or looks at go to our website right now, you'll see crates and stuff like that, right? So of course, to move 40 pounds of anything, I don't care if you're moving paper clips, you're going to need containers and you're going to need ships and you're going to need, stuff like that. But it wasn't all at one time. See, people look at it like, oh, at one time, was it 40,000 pounds?
Okay.
It was 80,000 pounds at one time. It's over the course of the conspiracy. So if you're moving 100, let's say arbitrary, 100 pounds a day.
Yeah.
So you're mailing that and they're adding it up and they say, oh, they catch, the receipts of you mailing it, and then people are cooperating and telling their stories or whatever it is that they're doing. They're going to add all these things up and they're going to add the money up. They don't even need, they're going to add the receipts up that they have with the money. That's why the conspiracy law is the main law that needs to get changed. They're going to add that up with that, and they're going to mix everything. So they say, hey, $4 million. Okay, you guys lied to $4 million. We got the receipt. They said that you mailed it 338 pounds. One person got caught with 338 pounds. And you mailed 338 pounds 3 times this week. So that's 1,000 this week, 40, that's 80,000 pounds. You know what I mean? That's 40 tons.
So I mean, I guess, yeah, like I was imagining some like Batman shit where you're like in a warehouse with like an actual 40 tons, but it happened over like quite a bit of time.
Yeah. Like the most pounds at one time, probably maybe 2,000 pounds. You feel what I'm saying? Like at one time that, been in the room and you see physically this is going on the truck or this, what I mean? But 80,000 pounds at one time, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like so it's like you have to turn that into, you got a 40 tons everything. You have to turn that into a thing. You see what I'm saying? Like you would be crazy not to. They branded it for you. I don't have to brand it.
Yeah.
It's documentation, it's court documentation that branded it for me. So the brand's official, I'm official, that everyone's on the conspiracy all together is official. So it's like, if you don't want to turn this minus into a plus, the next person will,
So you were, and I mean, you're clearly a very intelligent person and a very good business person, because it's a lot of work as an entrepreneur to do what you were doing.
Right. And that's why we're saying we just want our seat at the table.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
you were good at it. I mean, you were good at what you did. You know what I mean? Like you're a good businessman.
I said this in an interview the other day. I was like, I think you're penalized because, even at that time, LA was still, even though it's federal, it still was looked at as a slap on the wrist in 2012. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's California.
It was still a slap on the wrist as far as like, you don't get any time for this, right? But this is what kills me is the fact that, well, why in the hell, if if it's a slap on the wrist for the guy with the ounce or the guy with the QP, right? So you really, wait a minute, hold on. You want to be successful at doing this, or you want to, oh, we got to penalize you. We got to come get you. Like, you can do it on this scale. You can have one computer, but if you have 1,000 of these same computers, then wait a minute, you know something that we don't know. So it's kind of like you're penalized for
being good at what you did.
It's control.
Yeah, it's like,
I mean, it'd be like if you grew a cabbage and everyone's like, yeah, nobody gives a shit about your cabbage, but you grew like a field of cabbages, everybody's like, oh, we got a problem now.
Yes, so I don't think that part is cool. I don't think like you should have a scale on it's either wrong or not. It's not, hey, you can sell nickels on the corner and stay stagnated in your little corner in your projects. But if you want to have a whole warehouse full of this shit, then we got to come get you and throw away the key. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't think that that's cool, and it has to be somebody to talk about this, and has to be stoppage to this, because you can't have something that's on the stock market making billions. You know what I mean? That you can buy into right now and make billions, and then on the other hand, right now, today, somebody can get their third strike for it and still be wiped out in the feds for life. Like, I've never seen a halfway drug. You know what I mean? Like, it's either heroin is heroin, or dope or dope, pills are pills, or Percocet is a Percocet. I've never seen where this drug is a half drug. It's only a drug when it benefits you. I don't want it. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, now that you're saying that,
well, why?
I'm thinking about anything else that's treated like that.
Nothing is a halfway drug.
Yeah.
The only drug where it's halfway on this state, halfway in that state, all these imaginary lines you're not supposed to cross. I'm still on a 10-year paper where it's like, get me out the bondage of all these imaginary lines. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's a bunch of ghosts.
I have a quick question. Sorry to interject. So do you think that it sounds like economic control over that, but is it racist as well, just part of the systemic racism? But it sounds almost more of an economic thing, which has racism inherent in it, but the overall umbrella is like the capitalist system.
I think it has very big racism in it, and I really feel that, if it wasn't for songs like, The Chronic, Rick James, Mary Jane, I Got Five on It by the Loonies, that's what created this industry. The industry was created off the culture. So the culture is what brought the industry to where it is. There's nothing that you can come out with today. You can't come out with a phone, nothing with no advertisement. If they just drop in Kentucky tomorrow, it'll sell out. But that's back from the advertisement of people like me had to stand in the projects and promote this. We were the first advertiser. We were the first promoters. I had to start at the bottom first. So that when you start on the bottom, it's like passing out flyers. You know what I mean? So I passed out flyers to sell nickel socks and stuff. So I didn't start at tons. I started with an eighth. And I flipped that and 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 kept grinding. And before the logistics service come, I used to deliver to you. Only delivered to the high-end ballers. So if you weren't getting an ounce or not, I wouldn't deliver to you. You see what I'm saying? So back in the day, in 2003, I was a delivery guy. Before, now Uber and DoorDash is going to get on this thing, but you have other logistic guys before the logistic guys got into it. And all I'm saying is, I just want to bump into those guys. If I sold you 1,000 pounds back in the day, I think I should bump into you and not just trust fund kids when I'm going into these dispensaries or getting into the hierarchy of I'm at a competition, or we went to the Weed Cup, or we went here, or you should bump into somebody that was selling 1,000 pounds. It's the same thing that happened with alcohol prohibition.
Yep.
You don't think a moonshiner should own Budweiser? And they started alcohol? They the ones who made it big. They should own Miller Lite. A moonshiner shouldn't own that. At least one of the big companies should be owned by an old moonshiner. And I feel the same way about the marijuana industry.
So going back to, I don't think maybe many people understand how good you were at your job. You know what I mean? Like, because So you would have started with other kids, you knew other people on your way up. How many other people did you know that got to your level?
I mean, there's tons. You know what I mean? There's a, you know, they used to laugh, like when I was a box boy and they was on trucks, before you moving on the truck, you just a box boy. You feel what I'm saying? When you get the trucks, they moving it on jets like Rollo. You feel what I'm saying? And they're paying the $30,000 and they're moving theirs on jets every day. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, it's different levels to the game. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you just keep climbing up, and there's somebody that's always going to be, you know, they got the people that are moving it on boats, and you know, it's always going to be somebody else that's going to be doing it bigger. You feel what I'm saying? At any game you get into.
Yeah. So, what's your relationship with cannabis now? I mean, I know a lot of people, you know what I mean? They sell it, they don't necessarily smoke it or enjoy it. Like, what's your relationship with the plant now?
I would say I wish I can smoke it because I'm on parole, so I can't smoke.
Shut
But
up.
I'm on 10 years parole, so I can't smoke it. But I'm in love with the plant, and I think I can't wait till I can smoke it. I posted a thing when I went to 710 Lab, and they made a big fake blunt for me, and I'm like, this is gonna be how my first blunt's gonna look. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you know, we got that on 40 tons page right now. But yeah, I think you know, I'm in love with the plant, and I think that once that day comes, it's going to be a beautiful day. They're talking about having a smoke off.
Yeah.
We should have everybody come, and you know, Burner wants to have a little big thing where everybody comes out and you know, Snoop and everything, making a big deal on the first day that I can smoke. But I just want to just be able right now to, you know, come on, Biden, let me get a pardon. I have a clemency, but I need a pardon so I can get in the industry full hands on, plant touching, get a bro. You know, let me all the way in the industry. You can't get all the way in the industry like this. I can only be a brand ambassador of the industry, you know, and get with different products and sell my likeness and stuff like that, you know. But
so your hands are still tied by your incarceration?
Yes.
Okay. And that is, unless something else changes, 10 years.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into your sentence.
Let's go for it.
What, to me, not having been there, a life sentence would seem like a death sentence. And I just wonder, like, what that moment was.
It doesn't seem like it. It is. Let's just be all the way just cut and dry.
Yeah.
There's nothing that seems like nothing. It's a death. If you Google people that have life, it's like you're deceased.
Yeah.
You know, like it says, sometimes it says deceased. Like you're already dead. All you're doing is waiting to die. You live in a bathroom. Just imagine right now, you can't, you know, I was talking to these kids because I do these coding classes and try to do stuff for the community. And I was telling them before they commit a crime, like, you know, just see if you can just lock yourself in a bathroom for a day and see if you can handle it. Then on the next day, invite somebody into the bathroom that you don't even know. And then y'all both got to live in that bathroom together. You know what I mean? And y'all going to get to meet and know each other all right then and there. Now, if you can handle that for the weekend, then I guess you can go to jail. You know what I mean? But if that irritates you and you're about to die within those 48 hours, then, you know, then think twice about what you're going to do.
And when did it sink in what was going to happen to you? What was that
moment? It never sank in because I never accepted it. So once I found out, once you get on the yard and see people that have life sentences, once they accept it, that's the first problem I'm noticing. Because now you have inhaled this life sentence. Now you're wearing it. Now it's mentally, it's gonna show. Like if you look on my page and look at all my pictures in prison, I'm never wearing it. I've never once told anybody I'm gonna be in jail for the rest of my life. You know, I always spoke differently. I learned the stock market, taught my kids the stock market while I was in prison. You see what I'm saying? I always bidded on the streets. I never bid in prison. You know what I mean? Like I learned how to be a bookie in there. You know what I mean? How to run sport books and stuff like that. And I tried to learn as much things as I can do that can actually, I can be at some kind of help to my family and to my kids, like where at least they can get $200 to $300 a month from me. You know what I mean? Like, so if they didn't get nothing, they at least got a check every month with their dad's name on it to show that I'm not there physically, but I'm trying to be there as mentally as possible. And to have you at a young age, like, hey, I bug your mom about, hey, I need to go cash this check. My dad just sent, you know what I mean? So it keeps me in the house a little bit. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I'm not physically there, but I can try to be there mentally and give you something to look forward to every month.
So how are your daughters now that you're out?
My 15-year-old lives with me.
Okay.
And my 11-year-old will be turning 12 in 2 weeks, so I'm getting ready for her birthday.
And what's life been like with them, back together?
I think it's amazing. We just went to our first bar mitzvah. You feel what I'm saying? So we went to our first bar mitzvah. That was pretty dope. You feel what I'm saying? Like, so shout out Alex Todd and his daughter Chloe. Like, they had their bar mitzvah, and that was like a whole experience because in the hood, I'm usually like the one that gives out the big parties for them, for my kids. So it was a time that we got to go to somebody else's big party, and it was like nice, and it was a whole experience. And I danced with his mom, and we danced, and it was dope. You feel what I'm saying?
So you got pardoned by someone who, let's say,
Clemency. I got
Clement.
Okay, Clemency. I'm still trying to get a pardon.
Okay. So essentially, your sentence was commuted. Is that what happened?
Commuted, yeah. Like, you've done enough time, basically.
So you're not clear to the original crime, any of that. You were just let out. They did the minimum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna let you out.
Yeah.
And look, you do not deserve a life sentence, and I will commute your sentence that you have served enough time on the crime that you committed.
And that was by Trump? I mean, what? I mean, that is some wild shit.
Right.
What are your feelings on that? What's the story? I mean, that is really wild shit. The whole story, the whole situation, and who the person was. So do you want to maybe just get in there a little bit and tell us about that?
Yeah. Now, I'm not big on the whole politics thing, right?
Yeah.
But this is what I am big on. I'm big on human beings and decisions that they make. And with me coming all the way from LA, from the east side of LA, you feel what I'm saying? I'm come from the ghetto.
Yeah.
So I'm coming out the slums. So coming out the slums and the person with all the darts pointed at them at this time in their life, right? There's no more darts that he can get pointed at him that's not pointed at him. It's election fraud, capital. They want him to go to jail for the taxes. You know what I mean? It's so much stuff that's going wrong that you shouldn't even be thinking about me, or I don't care who brings it to you. You know what I mean? Like, you got your own stuff going on right now. That's lifted, that's this high. You got this is this high. Every eye in the world is pointed towards you right now, right? So, just to think about me in your last seconds of office, to even wanted to do anything for me. You feel what I'm saying? To want to do this, do that. It's like, that was just amazing to me as from a human being, a personal human being, to another personal human being who they wrote me. Him and Ivanka wrote me 2 weeks ago. I got the letter in there, but just for it was just an amazing feeling. You know what I mean? Like, it was really like a last second shot. And that's why I trademarked that too. Coming out of the airport, they asked me, how does it feel? And I said, it should feel better than the lottery. Yeah, so executive clemency is better than the lottery. And 40 tons, we own that statement now.
That's amazing. To make things maybe a little bit lighter, I imagine the food was not the greatest while you were in prison.
And I'm not a big eater, so put that part in there too.
What was the craving? What was the thing that what was that food that you wanted when you got out?
My mom's food. I was like, really, what I mean? I couldn't wait till I get my mom's actual home cooked food.
And was there any surprise, about how life had changed in 8 years when you got out? Was there any of that?
I mean, just the tech, you got the regular stuff, the technology and stuff like that. And just like, I did this video at this interview with Vanity Fair, right? So this is what made me want to do coding in the hood and teach the kids how coding. And I got with all the people that does coding, like the guy from Netflix and Boeing and stuff like that, just to give them a different feel so the kids can learn new stuff. Is during the interview it was outside, but any outside noise, they got to say cut, right? So it was pretty quiet, but you did have the airplanes that was flying over, right? So one of the assistants or producers' phone would go off, and she would say, "Airplane will fly over in 15 seconds." Her phone would buzz, right? And in 15 seconds, the airplane flew off. They say cut and went right back to taping. So I said, now technology has just really went just out of control. Your phone is buzzing to tell you when an airplane flies over in the next 15 seconds. You know what I mean? I knew at that point, if you really want your kids to get in front of the curve or somebody to really do something different with their life, they got to be a part of coding. You know what I mean? Because it's just really out of control. Like it's really a whole different, the person that thought of that is just I'm going to buzz your phone. Like who would you even think would need that? And then you find somebody that needs that's taping. Like not only did you find out how to do it to make the phone buzz off while it's going on, but when you were thinking of it, you either had to been on set or you had to, it's only a small point of people that would even need that app on their phone. So just to even think to cater just to those to your crowd, if you're the production, or just to think to make something up to cater to your people is just amazing to me.
Yeah. You were involved with the Last Prisoner Project. We are fans and supporters of the project. Do you want to tell us about what your involvement was with them?
I'm on the board of Last Prisoner Project, and I'm one of the first fellowship members. Me and Dante West is the first fellowship members of LPP, and right now I'm doing a lot for LPP. I'm a part of the merch now. I'm changing their merch. Get all new merch coming like next week. Change the swag up. We'll be at the Lil Wayne concert on the 13th.
So will we.
Yeah.
We're gonna be at Uproar. We'll see you there.
Yeah. We'll be there. And we got both. And we're gonna make some noise. We got some new stuff coming up. LPP is very, very delicate on the things that they want said. You know what I mean? But be looking out for us, man. We're about to make a little noise, and I'm a very proud member of LPP. You know what I mean? I'm very proud to be a part of the LPP team.
The first question that I had written down was, what would real justice be in your case? And I'm not sure what the answer is.
I would start with a pardon, you know what I mean, and getting off this parole. I really like that, you know what I mean. Like, I'll really be in tune with that. That would really, I think that'll do some good. If we can get off the parole, I think that wouldn't be that much of a bad feeling, So
yeah.
Right now, that's what justice looks like to me. Not being able to go out the country, being able to be a part of the industry the correct way, be a part of something. That's what I think. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking on a little bit bigger scale. I'd listened to some previous interviews, and you're a victim of the war on drugs as well. As well as the government's flooding of black communities with crack cocaine, which is established historical fact. The CIA was doing it. And then you go from that world into a different world, and you're hit with the same war on drugs. I'm not entirely convinced that, I think they should pay you for your time in prison. I think the people who went to jail for weed, which we just know was just a tool of racist politicians to keep down the people that they wanted to keep down, I think they owe you something for your time. It's fucking horseshit. You know what I mean?
Right. I would love for, I mean, I would just do a cartwheel down the hallway if that was happening. You know what I mean? Like it's like giving them 40 acres and a mule. I mean, it's like, it's like, it would be just fantastic, you know what I mean? And, I would just like to see some change. You see what I'm saying? Like to see some change and really, at least if you don't do that, at least, put the people in position so they can do that, so they can, create their own generational wealth off of, helping to get the industry to where it is today.
Yeah. What are you, I'm thinking about your daughters. What are you passing down to your daughters? Because clearly you're showing them generational wealth. You're talking about, your money working for you while you're asleep, that kind of stuff. What's kind of your message to them?
I would say my message to them is just like, be an owner, that's number one. If you, learn how to market yourself, trademark as much things as possible so you can be the owner of your statements, owner of your brand, so really, license. If you're going to be a brand, license yourself like a brand. That's number one. And then number two is, not learn how to like cause a frenzy, you know what I mean? But, when you're pressing something and you're trying to get it out there, you have to do things that causes attention, because people have a very short time span of looking, so try to grab their attention and utilize your not only the people that you meet and the relationships that you do, utilize all those things as your bridge to get across the bridge and never burn your bridge. So you can continue to get back and forth and get across there as many times as you need to, as long as you don't burn it. If you never burn the bridge, you can go over it and go back and forth as long as you need, so just, have good relationships with people and learn as much as you can, and try to get on things before the curb. Like if you see the curb turning right now, and you see that they're going towards electric, then you need to be looking at how to buy, the electric spots, or if you see it's going towards crypto and ATMs are going to be a dud in 10 years, get you a crypto ATM, get you something small that you have to use no hands, right? And try to get in front of that curve of the new order. All the people who really created wealth all got in front of the curve. They were all creators, or they got in front of the curve on all the new things that come along with being a part of the curve. You see what I'm saying? So I think, those are the main things I would tell them.
And who would you say, you're just obviously very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Where do you think you learned that?
I would say from my dad, because he's always been an entrepreneur, so it's already in me. But, I would say the streets taught me it too, because like if you're out on your own and if I have to turn this eighth into an ounce one day, then this ounce into 2 ounces, and that's teaching you within your own self. I even sold shoes on the corner before, so I always was a hustler where I wanted to, how do you turn, like, dang, I got $50 in my pocket. How do I turn that into 100? So I'm itching, my brain is itching, trying to figure out how to do it. You see what I'm saying? Like, so that's always been a thing, you feel me? So.
And the last question I had was, why do you think weed is illegal?
Just to, for number one, I think to control it, right? I think that's number one, to have control over it. And then number two, I feel that the reason why it's not fully legal yet and what they're waiting on is to get it under control, right? To get let's just say, if it was legal tomorrow, you don't have enough weed to for Rite Aid. You feel what I'm saying? Like, who's going to re-up for Rite Aid? You know, who's going to re-up for CVS? Like, who's really ready for their order? You know, their order is going to piss on the 80,000 pounds. You know what I mean? Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, so, you know, no one's really ready fully correctly for the real people with the real money, the Walmarts and the CVSs and the Rite Aids, when they have it on their shelves. You know, it's going to take some massive growers at this point. You know what I mean? It's going to really take some massive growers. So not only do they not have all that under control, you know, they're trying to figure out how they're going to get all the money without, you know, it having a backlash of this person smoked weed and fell out, or, you know, or whatever it is that they need to control with. So I just think those are like the main problems that they're having that they haven't pushed the button yet. That's why they tested in the big cities first and tested here, tested there. Then you can go get tested in these little states. The big states has already put the demonstration down. Once California and New York puts the demonstration down, everybody is going to follow. You know, so those are like the two biggest markets. You know.
Yeah. All right, and I understand do you still have a GoFundMe going and Cash App for people want to support you?
Yes. In order for me to do these interviews, you know what I mean? In order for me to do anything, you feel me? And not that I'm going to be at Walmart. So the jobs that they want me to work at is Walmart, Target, and stuff like that. So in order for me to sit here and do these interviews, I need that to keep the lights on. I need that to, you know, to continue to sit here to make sure I can pick my daughter up and take her to thing. It's $5 a gallon out here.
Yeah.
You know, it's $5 a gallon. And then, you know, everything people see, they're like, oh, everything you see is free. All this is free. My shirt's free. My hat's free. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everything's free. And the jury's free. So this is things that were given to me for what I've been through. You know, so when I'm living and I have to go back and forth and go get in the car and go pick my daughter up, and she went to Magic Mountain, you know, Magic Mountain's $200 today, you know, so, you know, where's the $200 coming from? You know, so it's like, I have to work, I have to do interviews, you know, I have to, you know, you have some interviews that, you know, bigger companies, and they pay you $2,000, you know what I mean, to do an interview, you know, 1,500 or 500 or whatever it is that they have to give you. On the other ones, when you're doing a live or you're doing it on these platforms, you have to hustle and you have to tell the people what's going on, you know, so that's what's going on, you know, it's like, and people think like, you know, some people like, I only got $5, I only got $10, right? And they're like, you don't need $5, do you? Like, yes, I do. You know what I mean? Like, yes, I do need $5, because it's not just you with the $5. It's 100 people with $5, or it's 50 people with $5. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, so it's a different vibe for different things. You know what I mean? So, boom, that's the lights. That's the TV. They want you to pay for their TV. They want you to pay for the lights. They want you to pay for the computer. You know what I mean? They want you to pay for internet. Like, they're charging for everything in LA. Like, LA is a very hard place to live in. So yeah, so that's a very big thing that we push.
Okay. And what's your Cash App?
It's Corvain Cooper at 40 tons, I believe. Let me see. I gotta look. Cash App is Corvain Cooper 40 tons. So $ Corvain Cooper 40TONS.
Okay. And is there anything else that you wanted to hip us to or plug, or anything else that you got going on that we should know about?
Send people to the you know, tell them get a t-shirt. We're gonna send some of it to the prisoners now. If they get the prisoner shirt with their face on it, 100% of proceeds go straight to that prisoner. And we're gonna put that money on their books. You know, so you got some people, I hype them up when they call and say, all right, man, Luke sold 20 shirts this week. Man, what you doing, Parker? You know what I mean? Now, Parker has to, get on your people. You're using our platform, but, you got to do some of your work too. You got to be on sales purpose. So when you're in there talking on the phone, tell your people to get a shirt or, still, promote. Like Humberto sells a lot of shirts, you know what I mean? So we pump it up and try to make it a competition. And the bigger we get as a brand, they're coming right along with us, so they're going to get bigger, so that's the whole point.
Okay.
So before we head out, and thanks so much for your time, we do a lot, the magazine does a lot with prison reform. Like, we not only cannabis inmates, but we work a lot with people who have life sentences, or one guy's getting charged, he got two 20-year sentences for the same crime, because like federal and state, and they just screwed him. So any stories, or because a lot of times what they tell me is that they feel they're like completely forgotten, and that it's almost like a forgotten population in there, and like they don't have a voice, like you said, a voice for the voiceless. So any amplification, I know, like you said, no matter how big or small it is, like I think the more that people talk about it, the more that the inmates themselves can like be quoted, humanized, and get out there. I think slowly, hopefully that'll help some reform, but I think that for us, any story ideas, anyone that wants to talk or anything, we just very open to that kind of content.
Okay, that's good.
Thanks. So yeah, I guess we'll see you at Uproar. So Lil Wayne was on our last cover, so that's 2 pardons.
Yeah, I was thinking that like
they should have sent you the picture. Now, Lil Wayne used my car like 2004. It's in my book.
Oh,
like,
really?
Yeah, Lil Wayne. Yeah.
He was using your what?
My car was in Ballin' Magazine, and they had Lil Wayne use it while I was in Ballin' Magazine. So yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
That's funny. Cool.
Yeah, I need one of those. I need a cover like that. Yeah, that's dope.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, we coming out with our next print issue in October, so we'll hit you up.
Perfect.
All right, Corvain. Well, thank you very much for your time. Very glad that you're out. And looking forward to keeping track of what you're doing, and trying to support you in any way we can.
Okay, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you in, I don't know, it's like a week and a half.
Okay, perfect.
See ya.
See ya.